Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Let all the weight of the day dissolve as you allow yourself to travel to a special place. A place where time moves like golden honey, where happiness is found in the simplest moments. Imagine a small village nestled between gentle hills. The houses are small and welcoming, with gardens full of flowers and vegetable patches tended with love. The air carries the sweet fragrance of apple trees growing in backyards. It's late afternoon, and a golden, warm light bathes every leaf, every stone on the path. In this village lives a gentle lady. Her silver hair gleams in the sunlight. Her hands are weathered by the loving work of a lifetime. Everyone knows her simply as Rose. And today, like many other afternoons, she prepares her famous apple pie. Come with me. Let your muscles relax completely. Feel safe and protected as we enter Rose's cozy kitchen, a place where love transforms into small daily miracles. Rose's kitchen is small and perfect. The walls are light stone, warmed by decades of love and cooking. A solid wooden table occupies the center, its edges worn smooth by years of caring use. Upon it, simple ingredients wait patiently for their transformation. The wood-fired oven whispers softly in the corner. Its cast iron mouth radiates gentle heat that embraces the entire space. The wood inside it crackles softly, creating an intimate symphony of comfort. Rose observes the apples in her favorite bowl. 7 perfect apples, some red as rubies, others golden as the evening sun. She picked them from her own orchard this morning. When dough still kissed their smooth skins, her hands reach for the first apple. Her fingers explore its surface, feeling the firmness of the ripe fruit. The texture is smooth, but not perfect. There are small marks left by sun and wind, imperfections that tell a story of natural growth without hurry. The knife glides through the apple's skin with fluid, rhythmic movement. Rose learned this motion decades ago. Her hands know exactly the right pressure. The peel separates in a continuous ribbon, like a dance between blade and fruit. The sound is almost musical, the soft whisper of the knife cutting, the delicate noise of the peel separating from the flesh. Each movement is meditative, hypnotic in its simplicity. The apple's flesh appears, white and moist. Small drops of juice form where the knife passed. The aroma intensifies, sweet, fresh, with a slightly tart note that awakens the senses. Gently dot. One after another, the apples are peeled and cut. Rose works without haste. Each slice has the perfect thickness, not too thick, not too thin. A lifetime's experience guides her hands. The slices accumulate in the large, white ceramic bowl. They glisten with their own juice, like small golden treasures. The sweet aroma fills the kitchen, mixing with the scent of wood burning in the oven. Now comes the cinnamon. Rose keeps her spices in small glass jars, each labeled in her careful handwriting. The cinnamon jar is slightly worn from constant use. Inside, the reddish-brown powder exhales its characteristic fragrance. She sprinkles the cinnamon over the apple with gentle gestures. The aroma intensifies immediately. It's a smell that evokes memories of cozy homes, of cold afternoons when warmth comes from within. The cinnamon dances in the air, some particles floating in the golden light, entering through the window. Brown sugar comes next. Its color is rich, almost caramel. Each crystal carries deep, earthy flavors. Rose adds it sparingly, knowing the apples already bring their own natural sweetness. Her hands mix the ingredients carefully. Her fingers pass between the apple slices, distributing the cinnamon and sugar evenly. It's a circular movement, smooth, almost like a caress. The apples glisten even more, covered by a golden film of their new companions, while the apples rest. Absorbing the flavors surrounding them, Rose turns her attention to the dough. The flour is sifted carefully. It falls like fine snow into the bowl, creating small white clouds that settle softly. The sound of the sieve is rhythmic and comforting, like gentle rain falling on dry leaves. Each movement of Rose's wrist is controlled, precise. The flour accumulates in small, soft mounds in the bowl. The butter waits in small cubes on a wooden board. It's at the perfect temperature, cold enough to keep its shape, but not so hard that it resists working. Rose cut it earlier and let it rest, knowing exactly when it would be needed. The cubes are added to the flour one by one. They contrast with the pure white of the flour, small yellow squares that promise to create the perfect texture. The butter carries the rich aroma of fresh milk, a creamy note that complements all the other ingredients. Now begin the most intimate movements of preparation. Rose works the butter into the flour with her fingertips. It's a process that cannot be rushed. It requires patience, intuition, love. Her fingers rub the butter against the flour, breaking the cubes into smaller and smaller pieces. The texture changes gradually. The smooth flour transforms into small, irregular crumbs, some the size of peas, others smaller than grains of rice. This is the secret of perfect dough, not working it too much, but working it enough. Rose feels the texture between her fingers, instinctively knowing when to stop. Experience speaks louder than any written recipe. Water comes last. Cold water, crystal clear, added 1 spoon at a time. Rose makes a small well in the center of the flour and butter mixture. Like a miniature volcano, the water is poured into the center and then gradually incorporated. Each addition of water transforms the dough. The crumbs begin to unite, forming small clusters that gradually become a cohesive dough. The process is almost magical. Separate ingredients becoming a single entity, ready for its purpose. The finished dough is wrapped lovingly and taken to rest, like a baby being rocked to sleep. It needs time to relax, for the ingredients to get to know each other better. Rose knows that patience always rewards. A rested dough is a dough that will behave well, that will roll out without resistance. While the dough rests, Rose cleans her work table. Each movement is part of a ritual learned over decades. The sponge glides across the wooden surface, removing every trace of flour. The table becomes smooth, ready for the next step. She looks out the window while working. The sun is lower now, painting the sky with shades of peach and pink. Shadows lengthen in the garden, where her flowers sway gently in the evening breeze. It's the perfect time of day, neither morning nor night, but something in between. A moment suspended in time. The rolling pin is removed from its special drawer. It's a simple tool, made of light wood, worn smooth by use. It belonged to Rose's mother, and to her mother before that. Her hands know every imperfection in the wood, every small mark left by the years. She dusts it lightly with flour. The white powder spreads evenly across the surface, ensuring the dough won't stick. It's an automatic movement, performed thousands of times over the years. The muscles have their own memory. The dough returns to the table, now rested and flexible. Rose places it in the center and begins the delicate process of rolling it out. The pin moves from center to edges, always with the same gentle but firm pressure. The dough extends gradually, first a small, thick circle, then a larger, thinner disc. Rose turns the dough frequently, ensuring it maintains its circular shape. It's a dance between her hands, the pin, and the dough, three partners who know the steps well. The thickness is crucial. Too thin and it will tear. Too thick and the pie will be heavy. Rose judges by feel, by appearance, by accumulated experience. When it's perfect, she simply knows. The transfer of dough to the pie form is a moment of total concentration. Rose carefully rolls the dough onto the pin, then unrolls it over the ceramic form. The form is old, with scalloped edges that will create a beautiful pattern in the dough. She adjusts the dough gently, pressing it against the sides of the form without stretching it. Any tension in the dough will result in shrinkage during baking. Rose works with patience, smoothing each fold, ensuring the dough settles naturally. The edges are trimmed with a knife, leaving just enough to create a decorative border. Rose's fingers pinch the dough around the edge, creating small waves that repeat around the entire circumference. It's a simple pattern, but beautiful, her personal signature on the pie. Now it's time to bring all elements together. The apples, which rested in their mixture of cinnamon and sugar, are poured into the prepared form. They fall in a golden cascade, their juices already beginning to mingle with the spices. Rose arranges them carefully. Some slices stand up, others lie down. There's no rigid pattern, just the natural arrangement that creates beauty in simplicity. The larger pieces go to the bottom. The smaller ones fill the spaces. Like pieces of a delicious puzzle, the aroma rising from the form is heavenly. Sweet apple, warm cinnamon, with a subtle note of the buttery dough underneath. It's a fragrance that promises comfort, that evokes memories of loving homes and peaceful afternoons. Small cubes of butter are distributed over the apples. They will melt during baking, creating pockets of richness that will mix with the fruits, juices. Rose places them strategically, not too many, but enough to add that silky texture that makes her pie special. Each cube is a small gift hidden in the pie. During baking, they will transform into golden pools that will seep between the apple slices, carrying flavor and moisture to every corner of the form. A second portion of dough is removed from the refrigerator to form the top crust. The process repeats: the pin, the flour, the gentle circular movements. This dough will be slightly smaller than the first, just enough to cover the apples and meet the edges. Rose works with the same patience as before. The dough for the top can be slightly thinner, since it doesn't need to support the weight of the filling. She rolls it until it forms a perfect circle, large enough to generously cover the form. The top crust is placed delicately over the apples. Rose centers it carefully, then presses the edges against the bottom dough. It's important to seal the edges. Well, this will prevent juices from escaping during baking, keeping all the moisture and flavor inside the pie. She uses a fork to press the edges, creating a decorative pattern while sealing the pie. The The fork's tines leave small, regular marks around the entire circumference. It's functional and beautiful, the mark of an experienced cook who doesn't separate utility from beauty. With a small, sharp knife, Rose makes small cuts in the top crust. These are tiny openings that will allow steam to escape during baking, preventing the dough from bursting. But even this practical function is executed with artistry. The cuts form a simple pattern, small lines radiating from the center like sun rays, or perhaps like the veins of a leaf. Each cut is precise, deliberate. During baking, they will open slightly, revealing glimpses of the golden apples beneath an egg is cracked into a small bowl and beaten lightly with a fork. The yolk and white mix, creating a golden coating that will give shine to the pie's surface. Rose uses a soft brush to apply this mixture. The brush glides over the dough, leaving a thin, even layer of the beaten egg. The pie's surface immediately gains a more professional, more appetizing appearance. During baking, this coating will transform into a deep, shining gold. The moment has arrived. The oven is at the perfect temperature, hot enough to brown the dough, but not so much that it burns before the apples soften. Rose uses her thick fabric oven mitts, stained by years of faithful use. She opens the oven door carefully. A wave of dry heat greets her, carrying the aroma of burning wood. The oven's interior glows with a golden, inviting light. The pie is placed in the center of the rack, where it will receive uniform heat from all sides. The door closes with a solid, satisfying sound. Rose adjusts the timer, not that she needs it. Her senses will tell her when the pie is ready. The aroma will change, intensifying. The dough's color will reach that perfect golden tone. But the timer is a tradition, a comforting ritual. Now comes the hardest part, the waiting. But Rose has learned to transform this waiting into part of the pleasure. She doesn't become anxious or impatient. Instead, she uses this time for other small tasks that make her kitchen even more cozy. The bowls and utensils used are washed with warm water and gentle soap. Rose works methodically, each movement part of a familiar choreography. The water runs over her hands, warm and comforting. The soap's foam creates small bubbles that burst silently. The sound of running water mixes with the distant whisper of the oven. It's a domestic symphony that speaks of home, of care, of love, transformed into simple actions. Each washed bowl is placed on the drainer, where it will drip gently onto a clean dish towel. The work table receives a final cleaning. Every grain of flour is removed, every splash of apple juice cleaned. Rose uses wide circular movements, covering the entire surface of the table until it returns to its original state. The utensils return to their specific places, the rolling pin to its special drawer, the knives to the wooden block. Each item has its place, and knowledge of these places is part of Rose's kitchen harmony. With the kitchen clean and organized, Rose allows herself to sit in her favorite chair by the window. It's an old chair with a cushioned seat that has molded to her body over the years. She picks up her knitting, a blanket she's been making for months. Without hurrying to finish, the needles move in constant rhythm. The yarn slides between her experienced fingers, creating uniform stitches that join the thousands of others already made. It's meditative work that calms the mind and occupies the hands, while wonderful aromas begin to escape from the oven. The sound of the needles is soft and rhythmic. Click, 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 a gentle metronome marking the peaceful passage of time. Each stitch is perfect, the result of decades of practice. Rose doesn't need to look at the work constantly. Her hands know the way. The late afternoon light creates shadow patterns that dance over her knitting. The shadows of the lace curtains project delicate designs onto the colorful yarn. It's a moment of perfect peace, where time seems suspended between anticipation of the pie and pleasure in the present moment. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the first aromas begin to escape from the oven. It's subtle at first, just a sweeter note in the air. But Rose notices immediately. Her senses, refined by years of cooking, capture the change before any other sign appears. The aroma grows gradually. The dough has begun to brown, releasing the buttery fragrance that mixes with the sweetness of the heated apples. The cinnamon intensifies with the heat, spreading its warm fragrance throughout the kitchen. An almost transparent smoke begins to escape through the oven's small openings. It's not the smoke of burning, it's the aromatic steam of a pie cooking perfectly. It carries with it all the fragrances of the ingredients, now transformed by heat into something even more wonderful. Rose smiles to herself. It's a satisfied smile from someone who knows her craft well. She can feel, without opening the oven, that her pie is following exactly the planned path. The dough browns evenly, the apples soften and release their juices, everything transforming in perfect harmony. The light entering through the window has changed quality. The sun is lower now, and its rays have acquired that special golden tonality of late afternoon. This light bathes the kitchen with an almost magical quality, making every object seem more beautiful, more welcoming. The glass jars on the shelf shine like jewels. The wooden table gains richer, deeper tones. Even the pans hanging on the wall seem to gleam with their own light. It's the golden hour of Rose's kitchen. A striped cat appears at the window, attracted by the irresistible aromas escaping from the house. It's Cookie, the neighborhood cat who always knows when Rose is cooking something special. He sits on the windowsill, watching through the glass with his green, curious eyes. Rose greets him warmly, though she continues knitting. Cookie is a regular visitor, especially when there are pies in the oven. He can't taste the sweets, but seems to appreciate the atmosphere of warmth and comfort that emanates from the kitchen. The aroma now completely fills the kitchen. It's impossible to breathe without feeling the perfect mixture of apple, cinnamon, butter, and golden dough. The fragrance is so rich, it almost has texture, enveloping whoever enters the kitchen like an invisible embrace. Rose closes her eyes for a moment, just savoring the anticipation. This is one of the moments she most appreciates, when all elements unite in the air, promising the pleasure that is to come. The pie is still in the oven, but already rewards the senses with its promise. Rose rises gently and walks to the oven. Through the small glass in the door, she can see her creation. The dough is golden at the edges, still slightly pale in the center. The small openings she made in the surface have opened, revealing glimpses of the bubbling apples beneath. It's not ready yet. It needs a few more minutes to reach that perfect color Rose knows so well. She returns to her chair, satisfied with the progress. Patience is a virtue she has cultivated throughout her entire life, and it has never disappointed her. The light in the kitchen is changing again. The intense gold of late afternoon is giving way to the softer tones of twilight. Pale pink, delicate peach, almost imperceptible violet. It's a gradual and beautiful transition, like a watercolor being painted slowly in the sky. Rose turns on a small lamp over her work table. The electric light is soft and warm, creating a cozy circle of illumination. It's not much, just enough to maintain the intimate and comfortable atmosphere of the kitchen. The timer emits its gentle sound, not a strident alarm, but a musical, soft reminder. Rose sets her knitting aside and walks to the oven, but she already knew this moment was coming. Her senses had prepared her. The aroma reached its peak. The color seen through the glass is perfect. She puts on her thermal gloves again, those faithful companions of so many previous pies. Anticipation grows as her hand reaches for the oven door. This is always a magical moment, the revelation of the transformation that happened within the heat. The door opens and a cloud of aromatic steam escapes, carrying with it all the essence of the perfect pie. And there it is, evenly golden, with the shiny surface of the beaten egg now transformed into an appetizing glaze. The openings in the dough let small bubbles of apple juices escape. It's a moment of pure satisfaction. Months of experience confirm themselves in a single glance. The pie is exactly as it should be, neither too light nor too dark. The dough has risen slightly at the edges, creating a perfect frame for the slightly domed center. With sure and precise movements, Rose removes the pie from the oven. It weighs more now. The apple juices have concentrated. The dough has absorbed the aromas. It's a satisfying weight, promising density and flavor in each future slice. The form is placed on a cooling rack where the pie can release its heat gradually. The contrast between the hot ceramic and the cooler kitchen air creates small, almost inaudible cracks. The pie adjusting to its new temperature. Steam rises from the pie in small, almost invisible waves. It's the heat being released slowly, carrying with it the last traces of the cooking process. The steam carries the concentrated aroma of all the ingredients, now united in perfect harmony. Rose doesn't move away immediately. She remains there for a moment, simply appreciating her creation. It's a silent ritual of gratitude for the process, for the ingredients, for the ability to transform simple elements into something that brings joy. The kitchen is now bathed in the soft light of early evening. The lamp over the work table creates an island of warm light, while the rest of the environment surrenders to the welcoming twilight. The pie rests in its place of honor, cooling gradually. The aroma still dominates the environment, but now it has a different quality, less intense than during cooking, more integrated. It's the fragrance of something complete, finished, ready to be appreciated when the right moment comes. Rose returns to her chair and resumes her knitting. Her needles find the familiar rhythm, but now there's a different quality in her movements. It's the satisfaction of a job well done, of a ritual completed successfully. Each stitch now is made in the company of her perfect pie's aroma. The soft click of the needles mixes with the small sounds of the pie cooling. Sometimes a light crack when the dough adjusts. Other times, the almost inaudible whisper of juices settling. They are the sounds of something perfect finding its final form through the window. The first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. They are delicate points of light, like small diamonds set in the dark blue velvet of the arriving night. The transition from day to night happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. Like everything in the quiet life of the village, Rose observes the stars while knitting. Each one seems to twinkle in its own rhythm, as if they were silently conversing among themselves. It's a spectacle she never tires of admiring, the same simple beauty she finds in her. Daily kitchen rituals. The pie continues its cooling process. The aroma, once intense and attention-grabbing, now has integrated completely into the kitchen's environment. It's as if it had always been there, part of the very air, the very essence of the place. The apple juices have settled, creating perfect texture under the golden dough. Occasionally, a small sound escapes from the pie, the whisper of a liquid moving, the almost inaudible crack of dough settling. They are the final sounds of the process, like satisfied sighs from something that has found its perfect form, feeling that tea would be perfect to accompany this end of afternoon. Rose places her favorite kettle on the stove. It's a light blue enamel kettle with small white flowers hand-painted. It belonged to her grandmother and carries with it decades of quiet moments like this. The water inside the kettle will begin to heat slowly. For now, there's only the soft sound of burning gas, a small symphony of blue flames that will heat the water to the perfect point. Rose knows exactly the sound the kettle will make when the water is ready. She opens a small tea tin, painted with delicate roses and golden edges. Inside, chamomile tea bags wait patiently. Chamomile is perfect for this moment, gentle, relaxing, with a floral aroma that will complement perfectly the sweet fragrance of the pie. Each bag is perfectly preserved in the tin, protected from light and moisture. Rose chooses one carefully, feeling its soft texture between her fingers. The promise of warmth and comfort is contained in this small fabric envelope. The chosen cup is fine porcelain with a delicate pattern of blue flowers. The saucer matches perfectly, creating a harmonious set. Rose places them on a small silver tray, along with a little spoon that gleams softly in the lamp's light. Each object has its history, its specific function in this tea ritual. The cup was a wedding gift. The saucer survived decades of careful use. The little spoon belonged to her mother. Together, they create an intimate ceremony of comfort and tradition. The kettle began to produce its first sounds, an almost inaudible murmur indicating that the water is beginning to move, to prepare for its moment of boiling. It's a comforting sound, promising warmth and comfort soon. Rose continues knitting, but part of her attention is tuned to the kettle sounds. She knows each stage of the process. First, the murmur, then small bubbles, then the soft whistle that will indicate the perfect moment. The light from the lamp over the work table creates soft and cozy shadows throughout the kitchen. The contours of objects become softer, more welcoming. The pans hanging on the wall project interesting shapes. The flowers on the windowsill create delicate silhouettes. It's the kitchen's magical hour when artificial light mixes with the last vestiges of natural light, creating an atmosphere that belongs neither to day nor night, but to something between the two, a moment suspended in time, perfect for contemplation and peace. The pie has reached its ideal temperature, no longer too hot to burn the tongue, but still warm enough to release all its aromas when cut. It's the perfect moment, a delicate balance between the oven's heat and room temperature, Rose can feel, even from a distance, that this moment has arrived. It's an intuition developed over years, an intimate connection with the cooking process that goes beyond any external measurement. The pie is ready to fulfill its purpose. The kettle emits its first soft whistle, a musical sound indicating the water is almost at the ideal point. Rose sets her knitting aside and rises gracefully. This is one of the moments she most appreciates, when all elements of her evening ritual align perfectly. The kettle's sound grows gradually, but never becomes strident. It's a gentle call, not an alarm. Rose walks to the stove with tranquil steps, without haste. There's enough time to do everything at the right pace. The hot water is poured over the chamomile bag in the porcelain cup. Delicate steam rises immediately, carrying the gentle floral aroma of chamomile. It's a fragrance that combines perfectly with the environment, relaxing, comforting. Homie.Rose watches the water gradually changing color from transparent to a pale golden yellow. The bag floats on the surface, slowly releasing its essence. It's a process that cannot be rushed, like the pie. Tea has its own time. Rose remains there for a moment, simply appreciating the mixture of aromas filling her kitchen. The sweet and comforting fragrance of the apple pie, the floral and tranquil aroma of chamomile, the residual smell of wood that burned in the oven. Together, they create an olfactory symphony of perfect domestic harmony. It's a moment of silent gratitude for the apples from her orchard, for the recipe inherited from her mother, for the kettle that worked perfectly once again, for the small pleasures that transform an ordinary afternoon into something special. The first sip of tea is always special. The warm liquid descends gently, spreading heat from the throat to the stomach. The chamomile's flavor is delicate, floral, with a slightly sweet note that doesn't require any addition of sugar or honey. Rose closes her eyes for a moment, savoring not just the taste, but the entire experience. The warmth of the cup in her hands, the steam that warms her face, the sensation of relaxation that chamomile promises. It's meditation in liquid form. The pie calls to her silently, not with urgency, but with the gentle promise of perfectly completing this moment. Rose decides that a small piece would be ideal, just enough to savor the result of her loving work. She chooses a knife with a smooth blade, perfect for cutting dough without crushing it. The blade slides through the golden crust with ease, revealing the pie's interior. The apples are perfectly soft. Their juices, mixed with cinnamon, have created a natural silky sauce. The slice slides onto the plate with ease, sign of a perfectly cooked pie, neither to liquid nor to dry, but exactly the ideal texture. The bottom crust remained firm, creating a solid base for the succulent filling. The chosen plate is white porcelain with a delicate golden border. The plate's simplicity enhances the pie's natural beauty, the golden colors of the apples and dough, contrasting beautifully with the immaculate white of the porcelain dot, is a moment of pure revelation. All the flavors Rose anticipated during preparation revealed themselves in perfect harmony. The natural sweetness of the apples, enhanced but not masked by the brown sugar, the cinnamon, present but not dominant, the dough, buttery and delicate. It's more than flavor, it's the materialization of hours of care, of tradition passed through generations, of love transformed into something tangible. Each element maintains its own identity while contributing to a whole greater than the sum of its parts. Rose chews slowly, savoring each nuance. The texture of the apples, which kept some of their original firmness. The dough that melts delicately in the mouth. The juices that carry all flavors in a harmonious dance on the palate. It's a moment of gustatory meditation. There's no hurry, no distractions. Just her perfect pie, and the chamomile tea that complements each flavor without competing with it. Its simplicity elevated to the category of art. Outside, night has established itself completely. The stars shine with full intensity, creating a familiar celestial map in the kitchen window. There are no clouds to obscure their beauty. It's a clear and perfect night. Reflection of the simple perfection found within Rose's kitchen. The darkness outside makes the interior light even more cozy. The kitchen has transformed into a refuge of warmth and comfort, protected from the night by walls that guard decades of moments like this, with the calm that characterizes all her movements. Rose cleans the few utensils used to serve her pie. The plate, the fork, the cup, each is washed carefully and placed to dry. Even this simple task is executed with the same loving attention dedicated to preparing the pie. The warm water over her hands is comforting. The soap creates delicate foam that removes all traces of the meal. It's an appropriate closure to the ritual, leaving everything clean and ready for next time. The remaining pie is covered delicately with a clean cotton cloth. Thus, it will remain fresh until tomorrow, when it can be shared with neighbors or savored in another moment of peace. Rose places it in a safe location, protected but accessible. There's something comforting in knowing the pie will be there tomorrow. It's a promise of continuity, of small pleasures that repeat, creating a solid foundation of contentment in simple life. One by one, the kitchen lights are turned off. The lamp over the work table, the small light over the stove. The kitchen gradually surrenders to the soft moonlight entering through the window, creating silver patterns over the familiar surfaces. In the semi-darkness, the kitchen objects seem to sleep too. The pans rest silently. The cups repose in their places. Everything at peace after another day of fulfilled purpose. Rose walks gently through her house, her steps muffled by soft slippers. Each room she crosses carries the residual fragrance of the pie, a perfume that will accompany her to the bedroom, promising sweet and restorative dreams. Her movements are slow, contemplative. There's no hurry now. The day was complete, full of small pleasures and tasks performed with love. It's time to rest, to allow body and mind to surrender to tranquil sleep. From the bedroom, Rose can see her village falling asleep under the blanket of stars. The neighbors' houses show only a few windows still lit. Soon, all will be dark, and the entire village will rest in peace. It's a vision that brings deep tranquility. The feeling of belonging to a community where everyone sleeps safely, where days follow natural rhythms, where simple life is valued and preserved. Preparation for sleep is done with the same tranquility that characterized the entire day. Each movement is gentle, deliberate, part of a nightly ritual repeated for decades. There's no anxiety about tomorrow, no worries that can't wait. The pillow is adjusted carefully, the blankets arranged at the perfect temperature. Everything is exactly as it should be for a night of deep and restorative sleep. When she finally lies down, Rose feels each muscle in her body relaxed completely. It's the physical satisfaction of a day well lived, of tasks fulfilled with love, of small pleasures fully savored. Her body naturally molds to the familiar mattress. Each curve finds its perfect place. Each limb settles in the ideal position for rest. It's as if the bed itself embraced her loving weariness. Even here, in the bedroom, the gentle aroma of the pie is still perceptible. It's a fragrance that promises sweet dreams, that carries with it all the positive memories of the day. Ripe apples, warm cinnamon, golden dough. Each olfactory note is an invitation to total relaxation. This perfume mixes with the clean aroma of the sheets, creating a perfect atmosphere for sleep. It's the smell of home, of safety, of life lived with purpose and gratitude. Rose's breathing becomes gradually slower and deeper. Each inhalation brings peace. Each exhalation releases any trace of the day's tension. It's a natural rhythm, like the tides, like the movement of stars in the sky. Air enters and exits gently, carrying with it the comforting fragrance that fills the house. It's breathing in peace, in gratitude, in complete harmony with the present moment. Rose's thoughts become increasingly diffuse, like soft clouds that dissolve in the mind's sky. The day's concerns dissolve, replaced by a sensation of completeness and satisfaction. It's the natural transition to sleep, not forced but allowed. Like everything in Rose's life, it happens in its own time, at its own rhythm, with naturalness and grace. The night's silence envelops the house like an invisible blanket. Only the softest sounds remain, the distant whisper of wind in the trees, the almost inaudible song of a solitary cricket, the deep and regular breathing of arriving sleep. It's a silence full of peace, of safety, of promises, of a tomorrow that will bring new small pleasures. It's the silence of deserved rest, of sleep that restores and renews. Now the peace you found in this cozy kitchen envelops you completely. The gentle aroma of apple pie carries your dreams to places of warmth and comfort. Your breathing deepens naturally, following the tranquil rhythm of the night. Let sleep come to you as it came to Rose, without effort, with gratitude, surrounded by the sweet fragrance of simple life well lived. Sleep well. Dream of cozy kitchens, of the fragrance of cinnamon and apples, of the deep peace of small rituals that make life beautiful.